Okay, Priyesh, let's get started without any further ado. I guess the others aren't available today. Before we do a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from EC Council. EC Council is the leading organization for trainings and certifications in the domain of cybersecurity specifically. Okay. And the demo that we're going to take up today is on a course called Certified Ethical Hacking version 12. This is the latest version of the course running right now. Every year the version gets updated, and again older topics are removed and newer topics again in the market are added simultaneously as well. Okay. Now, before we get into the demo, let's again clarify a small misconception among students: what is hacking and what is ethical hacking? Because most of them believe that it is one and the same term, and that is what keeps them away from this field, thinking that this is completely illegal. But no, there are two different terms: one is hacking and one is ethical hacking. Let's define each of them. And one last thing before we get started, I hope I'm audible properly. Issues on my end or background disturbances or any such sort. Any issues with my audio or so? Priyesh, are you there? Hello. Okay, assuming you're here and assuming you can hear me, let's get started. So when you talk about hacking, this is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. And what I mean by gaining access to information systems is if I were a hacker, it means I remotely get a connection to your device through which I can access it or get the data on it. So if I hack your phone or your computer or your web server, what it means I have a remote connection to that device through which I can access all the data on that system. And this is done without the permission or without the knowledge of the person owning those systems. Okay, and this is performed by hackers for their own benefit. So once they get access to that device, they can steal the data, destroy the data, or sell that data to other people. And sometimes hackers are so mischievous, they can even do it just for fun. Okay. Now, if this is hacking, why do we have a course called ethical hacking is the question. And how is this getting ethical or legal in the first place? To define ethical hacking, on the other hand, it is the procedure of trying to find loopholes or vulnerabilities. This term called vulnerability is something that you'll hear throughout the course. A vulnerability is a flaw, a security loophole in the devices that you're testing. And hackers take advantage of these loopholes to get access. So your job in ethical hacking is to find these loopholes or vulnerabilities in the security of these information systems with the permission and with the consent of the organization. And once you find a loophole, you report it back to the company so that they can apply the necessary security update or the security patch. And once that patch is applied, that vulnerability is remediated, it is removed so that no other hacker can take advantage of it. So thereby with ethical hacking, you're trying to find the vulnerabilities or loopholes first compared to hackers, and you're trying to remediate it or improve the security of the organization and keep it secure or prevent cyber threat attacks. So depending on these two definitions, you can categorize the types of hackers as well. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, there's someone known as a gray hat hacker, and there's someone known as a black hat hacker. White hat hackers are also commonly called as cybersecurity professionals or ethical hackers. They're people who abide by the laws and policies of the organization and work for the betterment of the organization's security. On the other end of the spectrum, you have black hat hackers. These are people who are also commonly called as cyber criminals. They perform hacking for their own benefit or for fun without asking for consent. And in between, there's a third category called gray hat hackers. Now, these people are quite a bit mysterious. They have both the qualities of a black hat as well as a white hat hacker. Like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission first. But once they find the vulnerability, like a white hat hacker, they report it back. But there is a minor catch here. They don't do it for free, obviously. They do it in return for a bounty. A bounty is a financial reward that is, again, supposed to be given to these hackers for finding the vulnerability and reporting it without misusing it. Okay. So again, hence these people are also commonly called as bug bounty hunters. They find bugs or loopholes in your devices or in your applications in return for a bounty. Now, no matter what kind of a hacker you take, whether you take a black hat hacker's perspective, gray hat hacker, or a white hat hacker's perspective, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure. And that procedure is called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. So the procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack Again, and the same knowledge of this procedure, which allows cyber security professionals to understand these attacks, to prevent these attacks, are called as cyber kill chain. Okay, so again, this procedure consists of 5 important steps. Let me list them out first. So your whole cyber kill chain consists of 5 steps. The first step is called as information gathering. Second, there's scanning. Third, there's gaining access. Fourth, there's maintaining access. And fifth, there's reporting or clearing traces. Now, since not many students are available today, let me just explain briefly what each of these steps are. And in the next class, we'll go a bit more in depth. When you talk about information gathering, the main objective over here is to gather as much data as possible about your target organization. And this data is gathered passively. What I mean by passively is you don't contact the organization or you don't ask organization for this data. You get it from third-party sources, most of the time from the internet. Okay. And again, if you have a question like what kind of data we are supposed to gather in this phase, we'll talk about that in the next session. Again, it's listed out here anyhow. We'll cover this in the next class. But an important point to note here is all of this information is readily available on the internet to be obtained from. Once all that information is gathered from this phase, that is utilized or initiated with in the scanning phase. So in scanning, you also perform information gathering itself, but this is more of an aggressive or an active method. So you don't get this extra information passively. You make active connections or aggressive connections to the target and get more information on the target. Okay, so to again understand scanning, we can break it down in 3 simple parts. There's something called as network scanning, there's something called as port scanning, and there's something called as vulnerability scanning. Again, you step by step try to get information such as what devices are active on those devices, what ports are open or what services are running on them. And then you try to find the loopholes or vulnerabilities on them. So during these modules, we'll be using some very important tools such as Nmap and Nessus, same tools which are used in real-time organizations, okay, to perform various parts of scanning. Okay. And once all the information has been gathered, you go into the next phase, which is called as gaining access, the phase where the real hacking occurs. So once all the information has been obtained, once you have done all your research, and once you got the info of all the vulnerabilities on the target systems, you attack on them. Okay, and that attacking phase is called as the gaining access phase. But this phase is the most, the central part of our whole course, covers a vast variety of topics. Again, as mentioned, we'll be covering, or I'll explain what each of these topics is in the next session. Yeah. Okay. And after that is done, there are 2 small phases called maintaining access or reporting or clearing traces. Where in maintaining access, once you've got remote connection to a certain system, we learn how to maintain that connection. So for example, if the user restarts this device or shuts it down and starts after a very long time, how do you still maintain connectivity with them? How do you attack other systems from that attacked system? All of that is learned in maintaining access. Then finally, you have reporting or clearing traces, where we learn as an ethical hacker, how do you report the vulnerabilities to the organization? How do you explain how to remediate those vulnerabilities in the format of a report? Or as a non-ethical hacker, as a black hat hacker, how do you remove all the evidences? How do you delete the log files and stay anonymous and become untraceable? So these are the 5 important steps. Again, I've not gone in depth about these as mentioned. I'll be going in depth on these in the upcoming sessions anyhow. Okay, but again, when you talk about the whole cybersecurity course, these are the 5 important operations that are performed in real time. And our course covers all of them exactly in a practical fashion. So again, no theory knowledge. As again, once we progress with the classes, we'll have first few classes on prerequisites, learning what Linux commands are, learning how to set up a lab for your upcoming practicals, learning what networking is, what are IP addresses, what are IPv4 addresses, what is DNS protocol, what is DHCP protocol. So some fundamentals on networking, Linux commands, and lab setup or virtualizations are covered. And after that, we dive into the hacking cycle part. So very practical implemented course. It goes in a 20-40 ratio. First 15-20 minutes, we go for a theoretical part of the topic. And the remaining 35 to 40 minutes, we cover the practical aspect of it. Okay. And this course covers all the tools that are actually used in real time at the moment. So we'll be working on a lot of tools. Some of them to list out, there's Wireshark, there's Kali Linux, there's Nmap, there's Metasploit, there's Nessus, there's Burpsuit. These are the same applications which are used in real time in today's world in organizations. And some of these tools are asked in job descriptions as well. So again, learning these tools again gives you a good start in cybersecurity. So we'll be covering all of these tools practically in our course in the upcoming days. Okay. So as mentioned, I haven't gone through in depth on what the topics are. We'll be covering that in the next session once we have a better strength. Okay. But anyhow, this is just a brief introduction to what cybersecurity is and what the course covers. Any questions or doubts, Priyesh? Oh, 1 second. I guess Priyesh, you're AFK. Um, okay, I hope there's no questions. There's nothing further to cover in our session today anyhow. I'll be exiting the class and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, at 7 o'clock, sorry, 7 o'clock in the evening. Bye-bye.